Chapter 1, The Stranger Under Moonlight. Some love stories don't begin with words. They begin with energy, with a spark. Whispering Woods, Valanthria, Lunar Eclipse Night. The night was alive. A soft breeze whispered through the whispering woods, stirring the glimmering silver leaves that shimmered under the moonlight. The moon was nearing its eclipse, half-shadowed, half-glowing, casting an ethereal shimmer across the land. The world felt paused, waiting. At the edge of a crystal-clear pond hidden deep in the woods, lived Seraphina Lysel, a healer of rare magic. She wore a long lavender robe that clung gently to her curves, the fabric enchanted with runes that glowed faintly when near magic. Her glowing skin bore a swirling birthmark on her lower back, a symbol no one could explain, not even the ancient scrolls. As she knelt to gather moonpetal blossoms, flowers that only bloomed on the night of the eclipse, her heart skipped a beat. Her crystals vibrated. Every one of them in her leather satchel began to hum. Rose quartz, amethyst, even the usually silent obsidian. Their energy was warm, needy. Her fingertips tingled, and the air thickened. She rose slowly, gaze narrowing as she felt pulled by something unseen, something magnetic, toward the pond. The water glowed faintly blue, its surface calm, until she saw him. The discovery. A man. Half submerged in the water, lying on his back, wounded. His bare chest was laced with long, deep claw marks that oozed a faint silver fluid, not quite blood. His skin was tanned and strong, chest rising and falling shallowly. Around his neck, a crystal pendant with dark ember fire pulsed dangerously. His hair was long and silver, matted to his face. A scar ran from his temple to his jaw. Despite the wounds, he looked powerful, dangerous, yet heartbreakingly beautiful. Seraphina stepped closer, breath caught in her throat. Her violet eyes widened. "Who are you?" she whispered. The man's lips moved, just barely. A raspy breath escaped them. And then, his eyes flicked open. Golden. Bright, piercing, untamed like a wildfire in a storm. The spark. As her fingers brushed his cheek to check for fever, a sudden spark of blue fire leapt between them. Not flame, but energy. It pulsed through her hand into her chest, a surge of heat and electricity, sending goosebumps across her skin. She gasped, pulling her hand back, but it happened again when she touched his wrist. The rose quartz crystal in her pouch cracked open slightly, something that never happened unless it recognized a bonded soul. "What are you?" she whispered, half afraid, half enchanted. He looked into her eyes. Though weak, his voice was deep, gravel and silk. "Fate," he breathed. "I think I'm yours." The shelter. Without another thought, she lifted him with the help of levitation runes etched into her arm. Gently, she brought him to her crystal cottage. Then it happened, the crystal pulsed violet, reacting to her energy. Eros looked up, stunned. "No one has ever." Their eyes locked. Her lips parted. A heat coiled in his stomach, something more dangerous than magic. More ancient than spells. Desire. Real. Human. Raw. Without thinking, he reached out and touched her hand. The crystal exploded in light. For a second, time slowed. And then, in the shards of violet magic glowing around them, he kissed her. It wasn't soft. It was hungry, claiming, confused, like a man starved of something he never believed in. She melted against him, her fingers in his hair, their bodies pressed together between floating crystals. His hands found her waist. Her breath hitched. Their kiss deepened, tongue brushing tongue, fire igniting in the air around them. Then he stopped. Pulled back. Breathing hard. His eyes, wide and silver, held fear. Wonder. "That was not science," he whispered. She was still catching her breath, flushed, her eyes glassy with heat. "No," she whispered back. "That was real." And for the first time in years, Eros felt something he couldn't measure. As Lyra walked away, his gloved hand brushed the crystal. It pulsed violet again, not from his magic. From hers. She's more than curious, Eros whispered to himself. She's dangerous. Episode 1 ends. Chapter 2, Forbidden Touches, Forbidden Truths. The air in the tower was heavier the next morning. Eros couldn't sleep. All night, his mind kept replaying the kiss. The way her fingers curled into his hair. The way her lips trembled before surrendering to his. The way her presence changed the crystal's energy. But it wasn't just lust. Not just chemistry. It was alchemy. The kind that couldn't be replicated. And it terrified him. The mirror lab. Lyra stood in front of the obsidian mirror, her violet eyes reflecting back with confusion and, something she hadn't felt in years, excitement. Her fingers brushed her lips as a soft smile curled there. That kiss. She felt it in her bones. In her breath. In her dreams. The moment he touched her, something inside her stirred, a memory she never lived, a voice from deep within whispering. You've met him before. In another life. In another fate. A knock at the door snapped her out of it. Eros stood there, no longer in his heavy alchemist robes, but in a fitted black shirt, his sleeves rolled up, revealing runes etched along his arms. His presence was magnetic. You're early, he said. I didn't sleep, she answered honestly. I needed to understand why the crystal reacted to me. He looked at her for a long moment. His silver gaze softened. You're not from here, are you? Lyra blinked. What do you mean? I mean Etherhold. You don't speak like us. Your aura doesn't bend to the magic around it. It bends magic to you. Her lips parted, but she had no answer. He walked slowly to her. There's something inside you. Something old. The silence between them thickened. She turned to hide her flushed cheeks, but he stepped closer, slowly, then reached out, his fingers brushing the back of her neck, just where the crescent moon birthmark was. As soon as he touched it, a burst of violet light surged between them. Every lantern in the tower flickered out. And in that darkness, they both heard it. She is the key. She will awaken the bond. They froze. Eros pulled his hand back. Did you hear that? She whispered. I didn't just hear it, he said slowly. I felt it. Like it was, in my blood. The seduction begins. Later that night, in the lower lab chamber, Eros stood shirtless over a table, sketching ancient runes on parchment. His body glistened faintly from the magic residue, muscles taut with focus. Lyra entered quietly, but her eyes lingered on him. Why do you mark yourself with those runes? She asked. He didn't look up. Pain is an anchor. Magic behaves better when it remembers suffering. Do you always punish yourself to feel in control? He finally met her gaze. Something primal flickered in his eyes. No. But you make me want to lose it. Her breath caught. The space between them hummed. The candles flared. She stepped closer. Then lose it, she whispered. He reached for her, slowly, deliberately. And pressed her back against the ancient stone wall. Their lips met again, this time deeper, rougher, like a dam breaking. Their bodies moved together with instinct. His hand slipped beneath her cloak, tracing the edge of her waist. She gasped as his mouth traveled down her jaw, to her neck, where he whispered. Your magic tastes like starlight. Her hands roamed his bare chest, feeling the etched runes pulse beneath her touch. When her fingers brushed a scar over his heart, he froze. She looked up. What happened here? His eyes turned cold, haunted. That's the price of loving the wrong person. Silence. Intimate. Honest. Then Lyra cupped his face gently and said, I'm not her. He kissed her again, this time like it was the first time he'd trusted someone in years. Outside the tower, danger brews. High above the city, in a watchtower of shadows, a dark sorceress with ice-white eyes watched them through a scrying glass. Her lip curled. So the prophecy was true. The girl has returned. She turned to her servant. Kill her before she unlocks his heart. Because if she does, he will become unstoppable. End of Chapter 2. Chapter 3, The Dream Between Worlds. The sky above Etherhold cracked with thunder. The stars pulsed unnaturally that night, as if the universe itself had sensed a forbidden force awakening. Inside the tower, Lyra tossed and turned in her velvet-draped bed, her skin slick with heat. Sweat clung to her collarbone. Her breath hitched in her throat. The dream had started again. But this time it was different. The dream realm. She stood barefoot in a silver forest, wearing a sheer gown that clung to her like mist. Moonlight painted her skin in shades of desire. And he was there. Eros, shirtless, eyes glowing silver, standing by a pool of liquid crystal that reflected both their faces. His voice echoed, deeper than before, laced with something ancient. You remember this place, don't you, Lyra? Her lips parted. No, but I feel like I should. He stepped closer, slow and predatory, his fingertips brushing a strand of her hair behind her ear. The air between them crackled. Because we've been here before, he whispered. Lifetime after lifetime. Dream after dream. Suddenly, her body remembered what her mind couldn't, the way his touch felt against her bare back, the way his lips tasted of stardust and longing. She shivered. I shouldn't want this, she whispered. But you do, he replied, voice velvet dark. He cupped her jaw and tilted her face up. Their lips hovered a breath apart. When he kissed her, the dream exploded into color. Flowers bloomed in midair. Crystals rose from the ground, humming with energy. Their passion fed the dream world. His hands slid down her arms, to her waist, then lower, tracing every curve with reverence and hunger. She gasped as his lips traveled down her neck, to her chest, and lower. The forest pulsed with light. And then, a sudden crack. Scene shift, real world, a mark appears. Lyra woke up gasping, her thighs trembling under the silk sheets. Her breath caught as she looked at her arm. A new mark had appeared on her skin, glowing violet in the shape of intertwined stars. She scrambled out of bed, pulled a robe over her body, and ran up the spiraling stairs of the tower. The Alchemy Library. Eros stood by an ancient tome, eyes red-rimmed from lack of sleep. He turned as she burst in. You felt it too, he said, before she even spoke. Lyra showed him the glowing mark. What is this? Why do I feel like I've been with you before? Why do I remember you, Eros, in dreams? He looked at her long and hard. Then pulled open a locked drawer. Inside, a scroll wrapped in dragon hide shimmered with protective enchantments. This, he said, is the reason I never believed in love. He unrolled the scroll. On it, two figures, drawn in shimmering ink, stood back to back, a man with silver eyes and a woman with violet eyes. Beneath it, an ancient line of prophecy. When the mark of twin stars returns to the flesh, the alchemy of souls shall awaken, and with it, the world will burn or bloom. Lyra's heart pounded. Are we those souls? Eros nodded slowly. We found each other in every life. But every time, one of us dies before the bond is complete. She took a step back, overwhelmed. Then Eros gently grabbed her hand. This time, I won't lose you. Her breath caught. I had a dream, she whispered. You were there. Touching me, it felt real. He stepped closer. Because it was. Their lips met again, desperate, deeper now. Like the dream had cracked a dam inside them both. Their bodies pressed against the tall bookshelf, and Lyra's robe slipped off her shoulder. Eros groaned into her mouth, his hands finding the small of her back, pulling her closer. You are mine, he whispered. Across every life. Their kiss ignited the room again. Books flew off shelves. Magic flickered like fireflies around their bodies. Elsewhere, dark sorceress lurks. From the shadows of the lower temple, the dark sorceress watched the swirling energies between them. She's awakened it too soon, she hissed. The bond is incomplete, and when it's broken, it will shatter them both. She drew a dagger, the blade pulsing black. If I cannot have his heart, then neither will she. End of Chapter 3. Chapter 4, The Memory Burn. The tower trembled before dawn. Not physically, but magically. The very walls of Eros's sanctuary seemed to hum with energy, like the air before a lightning strike. And at the center of it was Lyra. She stood barefoot in the crystal lab, wearing only a thin ivory shift that clung to her skin like second breath. Her eyes were wide, glowing softly, her hands hovering inches above the levitating crystal orb. It wasn't responding to Eros anymore. It was reacting only to her. The violet light inside it spun faster and faster, humming louder, syncing with her breath, until suddenly. Boom. The crystal shattered midair, shards flying around her in a perfect orbit. She didn't even flinch. Lyra. Eros appeared instantly, his energy flooding the room as he pulled her away from the floating debris. His arms wrapped around her, grounding her, anchoring her. But she didn't blink. Her eyes were distant. Lost in a memory not her own. Vision sequence. The past life. She stood in a burning temple. Roaring flames. Screams. And him, Eros, but not Eros. Wearing ancient armor, bloodied, screaming her name. She, Lyra, was holding something glowing in her hand. A heart-shaped crystal. She whispered a spell through tears as the enemy closed in. I bind us. Now and forever. Then she was pierced through the back with a cursed blade, her blood glowing violet. No. Eros shouted, falling to his knees as she collapsed. You weren't supposed to die, not again. Scene shift, present, Lyra collapses. In the real world, Lyra screamed and collapsed in Eros's arms, her body convulsing with magical surges. She's burning up, he whispered. Her soul is remembering too fast. The mark on her shoulder, the crescent moon, began to glow and split open, revealing a second hidden symbol, the seal of soul binding. No, not now, Eros whispered. Not without the anchor ritual. He carried her to the starlight pool below the tower. A sacred alchemical spring. He laid her down gently, whispering incantations as violet energy danced across her skin. Stay with me, Lyra. Please. I just found you. Emotional intimate scene, his confession. As he held her trembling body in the glowing water, he pulled her closer. His forehead pressed against hers. He whispered, you once told me you'd find me again. In every lifetime. Even if the stars forgot your name. His voice cracked. I never believed it, until you kissed me. Then, as if drawn by his truth, Lyra's eyes fluttered open. Weak. Barely conscious. But she smiled. And whispered, you still talk too much. Eros laughed, but tears fell anyway. He leaned in and kissed her, soft, gentle, filled with pure emotion this time. No hunger. No seduction. Just love. The water around them glowed in waves, reacting to the bond forming between their souls. Meanwhile, the curse stirs. Far below the city, the dark sorceress knelt before a pool of blood. Her dagger hovered above it. Let the bond form. Let them believe it is love. She dragged the dagger across her palm, letting her blood drip onto an ancient seal. And when their souls are bound, I will rip them apart. The seal cracked open, and something ancient stirred beneath the earth. End of Chapter 4. Chapter 5, The Night of Stars, The Kiss of Betrayal. The city of Etherhold was silent that night. Even the wind held its breath. Above the Alchemist's tower, the sky unveiled a rare event, the convergence of the seven stars, a celestial alignment said to open the veil between past and present. It happened only once every 1,000 years. And on this night, Eros and Lyra's souls would finally bind. The Star Garden. The highest chamber of the tower had no ceiling, just an open sky and a floating bed of white blossoms under the starlight. Crystals hung from the trees like lanterns, glowing softly in shades of pink, blue, and violet. Lyra stood barefoot in a flowing silver gown, her hair loose and wild, like moonlight in motion. Her violet eyes shimmered with longing and fear. "Are you sure?" she asked, her voice barely a breath. Eros stepped forward, his black robe sliding off his broad shoulders, revealing the sacred runes etched across his bare chest. His silver eyes locked onto hers with tenderness and hunger. "I'm sure of only one thing," he said. "You." She smiled softly. And in that silence, they walked into each other's arms, lips meeting in a kiss that started slow and deepened with every heartbeat. The soul-binding ritual, steamy intimate moment. Their bodies melted together on the bed of blossoms. Each kiss stripped away more than clothing, it stripped the pain, the fear, the lifetimes of separation. Eros's mouth explored her neck, her collarbone, down her spine, leaving trails of heat and goosebumps. Lyra arched beneath him, gasping as his lips brushed her breasts, as his fingers traced sacred marks across her hips, thighs, and inner wrists. Their bodies aligned perfectly, like puzzle pieces across time. As he entered her, slow and deep, the sky above them erupted in color. Stars shifted. Magic pulsed through their veins. They moved together like waves, soft at first, then faster, more desperate. Crystals shattered around them as the ritual's energy rose with their passion. "Say my name," he whispered against her ear. "Eros," she moaned, breathless. Again. "Eros." And with a final cry, they climaxed together, their magic exploding in golden white light. A glowing seal formed above them, two stars circling each other, forever bound. Their souls were no longer separate. They were one. Scene, after the ritual. They lay tangled in each other's arms, hearts sinking, skin glowing faintly. Eros brushed her hair back, looking at her like she was the first sunrise he'd ever seen. "I loved you, in every life," he whispered. "But in this one, I'll fight to keep you." Lyra smiled and kissed him again. "Then you'd better be ready." Suddenly. A crash. Glass shattered. The air turned cold. Betrayal had arrived. Scene, the betrayer. Standing in the archway was Leora, Lyra's childhood friend, now cloaked in black magic. Her face twisted with rage.